Okay, so let's talk about the update that has been released for Heroes and Generals an hour ago. Its update is 1.18.1. Now we'll start with the weapon changes. Increase the time that it takes for a weapon to return to standard sway after firing. Decrease the amount of sway caused by each bullet fired. Normalize weapon sway. Sway when touring precision and recoil within different weapon groups. Decrease in base sway for PPD 40, PPSH 41. Increase the recoil for DT 29. And increase in turn and movement penalty for the MG13, FG42 and Johnson. Decrease machine gun cone fire, that's actually good. Increase machine gun and machine gun, that's twice, I don't know why. Sway when bipods aren't deployed, that's not I mean, basically you cannot stand and fire because the sway is gonna be too wide. Adjust damage modifier and range tricks for weapons, particularly an increase for M1, M2 carbine family and PPD 40 and PPSH 41. Decrease M1 carbine and M1A1 carbine magazine capacity from 13 to 15. Changes M1 carbine rear sight to flip up type. Increase spare magazine by 1 for MP34 and MP40 Thompson M1A1, FG42 and Johnson. So this is actually a good thing because the MP40 in particular, when you have high rate of fire, it just eats ammo like it's nothing. Increase spare magazines by 2 for M1918 bar. Increase spare magazine by 6 for M1 carbine and M1A1 carbine. Reduce rate of fire on STG 44, AVS 36, M2 carbine, MG13 and Johnson. So the rate of fire on the STG is already kind of low. I mean, for me the STG is kind of slow, the cone is too big, and it's not really, for me personally, it's not really a good weapon. So this is kind of a nerf already. Now the AVS 36, that's actually a good thing, because if you look at the AVS 36 with full auto and full damage, it's a beast in close quarters. Literally, it's unplayable against it. Of course, it's broken for the mid or long range if you build it that way, but this is actually good. And to carbine, it's also kind of broken with the rate of fire. Now the MG13, that's a big nerf for it. I mean, it's already like a machine gun, and if you look at the sway cone when rotating is increased and combine it with the reduced rate of fire, that's it's gonna be a question if it is gonna be top weapon. Johnson is the last one. I don't play with Johnson, so I'm just gonna skip that. Increase rate of fire on bar and MG34. MG34 really needed that because it was in between the MG13 and the MG42, and no one literally played with the MG34 because it is so weak of a weapon. The sway is not that great, the rate of fire wasn't that great, so it was basically a downgrade from the MG13, and you unlock MG13, if I recall, faster than the MG34, so we might see some play with the MG34, but that's still questionable. Decrease reload time on Bar and Johnson, okay. Added semi-automatic for PPD 40. Decrease vertical rotation when hip firing rifles, machine guns and SMGs. This is actually good because now you could hip fire more, especially with the machine guns, since I roll a lot with the MG13. But still, since if you're using it as an assault weapon, you'll still have to aim because the hip fire is not really helping when you have the turn cone fire increase. Now let's go over the vehicle changes. Tanks. Armor is wear down slower. Decrease the hit points of tank destroyers that are based on light tanks. in particular Hellcat Su-76 and headset from 1700 to 1200. I mean, I can kind of get that. Increased damage multiplier for heavy tank cannons, that's actually needed, so you can kind of differentiate them, because at the kind of correct state, when they shoot at you, you couldn't tell the difference between medium tank shooting you and heavy tank shooting you. Increase the reload time on heavy tank cannons. The bigger the cannon, the longer the reload time. Okay, I kind of get that, so that's okay. Decrease the mounted MG34 magazine size from 150 to 75. Now, this is actually kind of bad, since not many players use the MG34 that is mounted. I mean, the only good gun that's actually noticeable is the Hetzer, since it has 360 view. As for the rest, you're not gonna use that mounted gun that much, so that's kind of still kind of a big nerf. Adjusted all mounted DT magazine sizes to 63. Okay, I guess. Adjusted the reload times on mounted machine guns depending on magazine capacity. That's okay. Adjusted the size of T-26 Panzer II C fuel components from medium to small to prevent one-shot kills. I don't know who is rolling Panzer II-C, but okay. Adjusted chaffee ammunition components from 1 large to 2 medium components to prevent one-shot kills. That's actually good. Reload time decreased by 1 second for KV-85, SKDF 222, Panzer II-C, and Panzer II-L. This is actually a good thing. So basically, now, except for the KV-1 and SDKFZ 222, this is kind of a buff for the light tanks, so you can actually now shoot more. Tank reload sound adjusted to match the reload times. I don't know, is that really that important, but okay, whatever. Airplane changer, decreased recon planes hit points from 600 to 500. They're already paper planes, they're already slow, not that prevalent. They buffed the AA guns, and now they lower the points of the planes. I mean, this is just madness. Decrease the fighter planes hit points from 650 to 450. That's, I mean, I kind of get it, because they are fast, so they're harder to shoot, but still, if you look, they have fighter pilots or fighter planes in this particular case have lower point stat than the recon planes, which is for me like that's so bad. And then decrease the heavy fighter hit points from 750 to 550. So basically there are like 50 points difference between recon plane and heavy, which is not that much. And for me, heavy planes are like bricks. Also, you have to take into consideration that they nerfed a lot of the planes, not in just this patch, but when they added the rocks. Heavy planes are hard to land, and there's not a lot of space on some maps to land. So this is really bad. They should remove rocks at least. Also, if you're flying a step, if you have a step enable and you're flying on one step lower than the mid power engine output, some weird angles you can see your propeller. So if you're shooting from the first person, you cannot actually see where you're shooting, which is a bad thing. So planes are really having it bad this patch, and overall plane performance is bad, especially for the heavy fighters. They are like messed up with the map changes, and this, they're practically dead. Decrease transport plane hit points from 1000 to 350. So basically this is good if you are using a plane, you can easily shut it down. Also ground infantry can use the AA guns more efficiently. But increase fuselage component damage multiplier from 0.3 to 0.5. they already decreased the overall hit points, and now they increase the damage that you receive, which is with the rocks on some maps and no landing space. That's really not that great. Decrease VD hit points from 250 to 150, and decrease the damage multiplier from 0.5 to 0.48. Now, if you play as a pilot and your wing gets damaged, you're basically dead. There's nothing much that you can do. On some masks, like I already said, it's hard to land, and even harder if your wing is messed up. So they lowered that point by 100, and they decrease the damage multiplier, which is good, but still. I would be okay with the update if they let the hit points of the wing stay high. Decrease elevator hit points from 250 to 150, damage multiplier from 0.5 to 0.46, if I see correctly. I know, maybe I should zoom in. Yeah, 46. Decrease radar hit points from 150 to 100, decreasing damage multiplier from 0.5 to 0.44. I mean, nerfs all around. Just I cannot even comment. Adjusted ammo components on airplanes to share damage group with the fuel. Decrease air fuel component multiplier from 8 to 3. This is actually probably the only good thing. Normalized aircraft weapons damage multipliers. This means mostly decreases and few increases. Now the UI changes. Change vehicle based damage indicator to act like the other health parts by starting at full green. Removed the yellow middle stage for internals. Now both behave the same and remain green until health goes below 40%, after which they turn red. Added left and right armor groups to bikes to accommodate UI changes. And after that there is some map changes, fixes, but basically most of this can be summed up. Nerfs on the machine guns, especially the MG13 heavy one, and heavy nerf on the assault weapons STG-44, AVS-36, and M2 carbine. That's what it comes up as infantry. Some tanks got buffed. Most importantly, the German tanks got buffed with the reload, and the airplane changes are just obliterating them. So that's it for this video.